Hello, everyone, and welcome back to All Things Star Wars, the greatest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. I'm Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
I'm surviving.
Yeah?
Surviving is the best way I could put it. I'm
surviving retirement.
I'm converting oxygen into carbon dioxide, so that's a good thing.
That's positive.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're also converting some sort of nutrients into energy for your body. And
Sure.
So you'll have to forgive me. I'm working through my stupid YouTube app to try to get our feed up so I can see any chat that we get. I subscribed to YouTube Red this week. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but the interface changed a little bit on my phone when I did that. And there's Scott in the chat. Hello, Scott.
Yeah, I've already... It's kind of I was smiling during our 30 seconds because as soon as the YouTube feed came up, boom, Scott was there. So yeah. I think he was on it before I was.
Nice. So, speaking of Scott, we might as well throw this out there right now because I forgot to put it in the notes. He did a new episode of Used and Abused. I have not listened to it yet, I fully admit, but I saw the title and I'm very intrigued because he released it on, I think he released it on May the 4th, like we did our episode last week, and he's doing Star Wars music for Used and Abused.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to listen to it either. So I'm really curious. I'm a little. I'll tell you, I'm a little bit excited. We were just talking offline about how it's tough for me to listen to the podcast because I don't have this commute anymore. Mm-hmm. So, but a music podcast I think would be a little bit easier for me than listening to our own voices after I've already heard it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Good job.
So there you go. Yeah, there you go, Scott. One more free plug for you.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. So anyway, what are we talking about this week?
We're going to finish up season 1 of Rebels already.
Yes.
Just like that. Boom. We're through season 1.
Yeah.
Almost till the end of this episode.
Right. And I've got a lot to say about it. I took a bunch of notes. And,
good job.
Yeah. God. And we'll get into that. But first, we've got some other business to take care of. We've got a interesting day in Star Wars that I wanted to go over first. And that is actually for today, the day that we're actually recording the episode, which is May 6th. And on this day in 2013, Lucasfilm and Electronic Arts announced a multi-year agreement to create Star Wars video games. So this was the official announcement of the EA basically becoming the exclusive developers of Star Wars games for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, so that was the precursor to Battlefront initially coming out, which, Jason and I know and love. And then, unfortunately, Battlefront 2, that comes after that. And there's a whole chronological thing we need to do with the on the podcast to cover all that nonsense. Yeah. But
there's one interesting detail that they left out of this announcement on the Star Wars app, because remember the Star Wars app is put out by Disney and Lucasfilm. Right. Everything's vetted through them. One little thing they failed to mention was that a month prior to this, in April, they laid off the entire staff over at LucasArts who used to make Star Wars video games. They shit-canned all of those people, and they officially closed LucasArts as a video game developer. The brand name is still around as like a distributor or publisher or some shit, whatever, the next layer up is, but they stopped developing video games internally the month before. And this was all within 6 months after the Disney buyout, which happened in October the previous year of 2012.
Sad face. We're going to get into it a little bit as we're talking about our week in Star Wars, but as we're playing some of these older games, and enjoying some of them and not enjoying all of them, but it's sad to think that those guys, were all laid off. I mean, they're the ones that made my favorite game of all time, the TIE Fighter.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, we could do a whole episode probably just about LucasArts, the titles they created, the history of that company, because they eventually got big enough where they started branching out and tried to do other non-Star Wars related games. And there were a lot of originals that were very successful.
You should write that down. Write that down.
Hold on.
Write that down.
All right. So
I swear to God, it doesn't for the listening audience, it sounds like he's scribbling furiously. I don't know if he's really writing it down or he's just scribbling furiously.
Have you seen my handwriting?
I have. It is difficult to decipher.
Yeah.
It's definitely not, radio logs where it's all capitals, block letters, make Dave happy. Right.
Yes.
It's definitely a lot of chicken scratch going on.
Yeah, that's always how I've written. It's one of my only negative qualities. So
debatable.
So anyway,
dedicate a whole podcast to that.
Oh, could we? I'm sure we could have Kristen on, and you guys could just go back and forth. And
well, not just you. I mean, I'd take my share of abuse in that one as well. I'm not, but yeah, definitely. You're one.
Anyway,
you're one bad quality.
So yeah, we passed May the 4th, the big made up kind of Star Wars-ish holiday. We talked about it a little bit last week. Not much really happened. I mean, the one thing that we're going to get into for the week in Star Wars, but no like major announcements, nothing really, nothing official from Lucasfilm anyway. I fucking saw memes and pictures and shit all over the internet, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, but
hey, it goes to show, even though friggin' Infinity War is just absolutely destroying the box office, just crazy destroying the box office.
Yeah.
I need to stop talking while you're drinking so that way people can see it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Bronco Fett's in the chat, so it doesn't matter.
Shocking.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool to see that everyone is participating in the Star Wars Day and kind of getting into the moment of it. It just shows how far reaching the genre is, because, people that ordinarily it's a Facebook holiday, like a Hallmark holiday almost. It's like, oh, here's a day where you can say something about Star Wars, and then people do. It's almost to the point, like, for me, I hate to say this, like, I don't want it to sound like I'm like whatever, but it's almost like St. Patty's Day for me. Like St. Patty's Day, like I'm like 100% Irish, like really dumb amount of Irish. So like every day is St. Patty's Day. I didn't get my balls busted, by Chuck Brinzer and Brad Jacobs. Bust my balls, call me the Irish American all the time. But like on St. Patty's Day, might cook something and kind of stay out of like the amateur hour that goes on during that holiday. I almost felt the same way for May the 4th. It was like, unless something big had happened or I really wanted to get involved in like what was going on social media, I was just like, yeah, I'll put something out there. Like, I think I posted something on the our podcast Instagram page. It was fairly late in the day.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh yeah, let things settle down. We'll put something out there. Let all the people that want to be part of Star Wars for today, let them have their fun. But
yeah, no, I'm kind of in the same boat. Honestly, I don't get too crazy with it. In fact, I don't think I posted anything on social media about it besides our anniversary episode. It's, I could take it or leave it. It's like when all the amateurs start celebrating Star Wars, where people like us, we celebrate Star Wars every day.
Every day. Exactly right. And every day, and really celebrate it once a week at a minimum, like where we're broadcasting it for everyone to understand how much we celebrate it. So, speaking of Bronco Fett,
he's here.
There he is. We need a Danish Holiday.
What are they known for?
I don't know. Danish?
Besides being fairly unknown.
Danish, like
like the
tulips?
Danish, like the.
Like, isn't that Dane? Like, isn't that Danish? Like the whole tulips thing?
I have no fucking clue. So anyway,
thanks, Bronco Fett. Thanks for throwing us right off the rails, like with some random friggin' comment. Was that meant for somebody else? I mean,
I have no idea.
It's weird.
One thing that has been happening officially from Lucasfilm is they've been kind of ramping up the solo content. We've been getting more featurettes, more TV spots.
Oh yeah.
You posted the Star Wars show that we talked about before.
Right.
They had Ron Howard on there. He did this whole spiel. It was a real puff piece. I mean, because again, Star Wars show was released by Lucasfilm, so it's all vetted through them. The Q&A is going to be exactly what Lucasfilm wants them to say on both ends of the interview. So you could tell there was a lot of audio editing done with Ron Howard's answers too. I noticed that, like, as somebody who edits audio every week, I've noticed like when to decipher, like when audio cuts happen when somebody's talking.
I don't think Ron Howard gives the best interviews. I mean, I've seen him on
Possibly
multiple
not.
platforms. I think he's just kind of awkward like that. I mean, he was
He's
a
old,
child
too.
actor. He was a child actor. There we go. He was a child actor, so he wasn't like a big time actor afterwards. You know, he's more of a director type. So, and I don't know how comfortable he is in that position.
Yeah.
But guess what? You're plugging a Star Wars movie, so you're going to have to do. I mean, I think he was on Fallon. Like, yeah, he's doing the whole circuit for Solo, which is what you have to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I actually enjoyed that Star Wars show episode. Like even Ron Howard stuff was, you know, cool to hear him like talk about Star Wars and some of the history he had with Lucas, and the fact that I didn't really know that Lucas, or if I did know, I forgot that Lucas was on the set when Ron Howard came on.
Yeah, I had never heard that. So
yeah, so like that was pretty impressive that, you know, Lucas showed up. I mean, and there was, if you read anything about Ron Howard's background working with Lucasfilm, you know, there's a relationship there. So it doesn't surprise me that Lucas was on the set, but that there was, you know, Ron Howard's getting input from George Lucas. So, and Ron Howard said it on the Star Wars show. So it's canon that Lucas had input to the Solo movie.
Yeah.
So.
Which that's fine. Like I don't mind George Lucas being involved in new canon material so long as he's not writing the fucking script. Because he made it very clear during the prequels he does not know how to write fucking dialogue to save his life. So just don't let him do that.
Let Kasdan,
let him give inputs and stuff.
Let Kasdan and his kid fucking do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then at the end of the Star Wars show with the whole
the Arrested Development part.
The Arrested Development thing.
That was the best part of the whole thing.
That was so cool because they were poking fun at themselves so much, like especially with the ambiguity with Anakin's character with and some of the back and forth stuff where they're talking about like I don't know. You have to watch it. You know, watch the latest episode of the Star Wars show, and if you don't really enjoy it, you know, and don't feel like listening to Ron Howard stumble through the interview, you can move towards the end where he's doing this read through, this Arrested Development read through.
Yeah,
it's fucking really hilarious. It pokes fun at Star Wars. It pokes fun, it's nice to see them like go and do a little tongue in cheek of some of the things that, you know, we all talk about, and to see it like come out on a Star Wars platform, I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was good. I'm still not a huge fan of those hosts of that show, but it's whatever.
I told you what you need to do.
Yeah. yes, you did. And I will take that to heart.
Yes.
So we're ready to run into our weekend Star Wars before we get to the main topic today?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So as we sort of hinted at the beginning of the show, one big thing that did happen for the both of us was we got our Solo tickets. So as we predicted, they went on sale at midnight as the clock ticked for May the 4th. So
yeah, 12:08. I got a notification on my phone. It woke me up actually that the tickets were available through the AMC app. So I like,
oh yeah, it woke me up too. Because that night, so I don't remember exactly what got me to like actually open my eyes and look over at my phone, because I do wake up a couple times during the night. I got to piss and whatever. But yeah, I woke up, looked over my phone. It was like 1 a.m. at this point. I look over, I see the fucking notification on my phone. Solo tickets available. I'm like, oh, fuck, navigate, buy tickets. Okay, good. All right, good to go. Gonna text Dave real quick, text Kristen. All right, I'm going back to bed. Lay down, you can't fucking fall asleep. Laid down for another hour after that, and I'm just like, motherfucker. So this was like 2 a.m. at this point. I'm like, all right, I might as well get up and start my day. Thankfully, it was Friday, but I got up, went to the gym, fucking came back, showered, went and said, all right, well, I've still got 3 hours before class. So I went and had breakfast at Waffle House and posted a lot of shit on Instagram that morning.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, your duplicity workout pictures with, you know, the only thing changing is the shirt. I think I thought that was fucking hilarious. Like,
yeah,
right, strike the same pose, Jason, and just change your shirt.
Yeah, your wife has a good theory that I just bring a bunch of shirts to the gym and then I just change.
Just take a bunch of pictures.
Yeah,
that's pretty fucking.
And
funny,
then spread it out over the week. But yeah, either way, the Roscoms and the Mortons have their tickets. I bought 9 fucking tickets for Solo.
How that divides up yet for on my side, I don't know. I know we mentioned it last night to John and Jacqueline, you know, like, hey, would you want to come down? But John's wife Jacqueline is like ready to go pregnant. So to come down south to go to the movies so close to the date, like they're in this like kind of like stay within the 5-minute ring of the hospital type mode.
That makes sense.
So they're probably not going to make it. So we'll figure it out. Dave will be there though. That's the important part.
And if nothing else, if we can't find 2 more people to go, then we can always just get a refund on the tickets. They're prime seats though, middle row, like the middle 9 seats in the middle row in the theater. I was the first person to book them for that showing.
It's fucking perfect. I love it.
And we're gonna get to do this whole the AMC Prime. I think you had talked about it before. The AMC Prime experience. Well, that's what this is. So,
it's like a new sound experience. I guess something along the lines of RPX.
Yeah, apparently I was reading they put subwoofers in each individual seat.
What?
So we'll find out what that's all about.
That's gonna okay, sure.
The ladies might really like that one. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, give them earplugs and then just let them sit there and enjoy the vibrating.
What? Never mind. Moving on.
What are we saying?
So personally, I've got a major milestone coming up for myself this week. So, you know, I'm down here in like a schoolhouse environment, learning a lot of computer tech shit. Got my last major test coming up. Like, I'm still going to be here for months on end, but apparently this test that I have coming up this week is like the last one that people tend to fail before the course is over. So this is kind of like the big threshold. It's this massive networking test and all this other shit. And if I pass this, then it's kind of like smooth sailing from here on out, at least until I get to Texas in fucking August. But that's a whole other story.
That was me knocking on wood.
Yeah. So yeah. And assuming I get past this test coming up this week, then I am fucking golden, no more stress. And I'll have some more free time to do more Star Wars related stuff.
Sweet.
But
so you'll have to teach me about this free time thing.
Yeah, but you probably won't.
Like the busiest fucking thing ever.
Oh yeah, we've had that conversation before. But yeah, I may not have much of a presence on social media this week, but after that, then I should be good to go. A couple more things before I turn it over to you. We talked about this last week, the Xbox backward compatibility shit. So I finally hopped on. I bought Knights of the Old Republic and Republic Commando on there, which were $7 and $10 respectively. By the way, I don't know why fucking Xbox does this, because I've never seen this on any other platform, where you're scrolling through their fucking store and you see, the game that you want to buy. And it's always like a thumbnail of the game, the title below it, and in most video game platforms, there's the fucking price underneath that. Well, in Xbox Live, certain games, I don't know why, they've designated as C price. You have to click something else to go to a different menu to see the fucking price.
Yeah, it's very odd. I bet you it has something to do with the discount structure. Like, you know, I'll notice that with Xbox like Gold, because if you're an Xbox Gold, whatever, which I am, you get access to games like either for free, like, or like really, really cheap. They'll have a lot of stuff. And it's kind of the same thing. Like, it doesn't show you how much it'll cost, like, till you actually go into the game. And it's like, okay, the Xbox Gold, you're paying this much money. So it could have something to do with that.
That makes sense.
A little bit easier to hide that way.
But yeah, despite the fact that I have the physical copies of both of these games at home that I could play on the Xbox One, I'm here. I'm not going to be home until November. So I'm like, fuck it. Might as well grab them. It's $17.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I don't have a copy. I didn't have an Xbox. Like, I never owned an Xbox. I was a PlayStation 2 guy. Right. Yeah. So I didn't have these games over Xbox. So I bought Knights of the Old Republic and Republic Commando as well. And also the Battlefront 2. The original Battlefront 2.
Yes, yeah, we talked about that last week. And one last thing before I turn it over to you. As I was perusing the Xbox store, I went to the store and I typed in the search bar Star Wars, hit enter, and I'm scrolling through. And one thing that caught my eye right before I closed out the menu was a little thing under movies at the bottom. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I scrolled down and it was Plastic Galaxy, the story of Star Wars toys. I'm like, huh? Didn't we just do this with the
really
the toys that made us? So I open it up and it's a documentary that came out, I don't know, like last year or something, and I watched the trailer, and it's very similar to the Toys That Made Us. This one's like an hour and 15 minutes long. Has a couple other Kenner developers in there, and it seems to focus on again Star Wars toys from the 70s and 80s. So it looks like just another take on the whole Toys That Made Us thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, watch the trailer if you get a minute. It's yeah. I'm curious.
If it's on YouTube somewhere. Like, if you
like
can
the
watch
whole
it on
thing,
YouTube. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, check it out. But yeah, I'm gonna do some more research on this, find out if it was any good, and see if maybe it's worth watching, because it was really cheap on the Xbox store. It was like $6 to buy it and $2 to rent it. So that could be a future topic. Compare that to the Toys That Made Us kind of thing.
Potentially, for $6. I mean, I actually, because I do everything through Apple and through iTunes, I've never gotten a movie or anything through the Xbox store. So interesting.
It's the same concept.
Yeah.
Just always going to be tied to your Xbox account.
Right.
So all right. So what about you? What have you been up to this last week?
So, I put in the notes, like, not much. I mean, honestly, I did what you're talking about. I've been played some more of the Battlefront 2, the original Battlefront 2, when I've had time to sit down. Honestly, what I did this week, like, not a whole lot of Star Wars related shit. It was, after we taped our May the 4th episode on Monday, I went and got 3 yards of mulch for the house and fucking moved 3 yards of mulch all over the goddamn property. So
I saw that bed of the truck completely filled with fucking mulch.
It was my father-in-law's truck can hold 2 yards of mulch. It's this little Nissan, and the kid, as he's dumping it in the back, he's like, "Oh, what are you getting? Like 1.5?" I'm like, "No, 2." He's like, "Really?" So he basically took the loader and like smashed this
like packed it down real tight.
Yeah, which was great because I didn't even have to put a tarp on it to get it home. The bad news was that it was packed tight as shit. So me shoveling it out of the back of the fucking truck was like an enormous amount of effort. So, and laid some new mulch areas out in the yard, stuff that, again, because I haven't really had time to do it throughout my Air Force career, catching up on doing like big yard projects like that. So, and it's way cheaper to buy in bulk. The mulch, like if you have access to a truck and you can fucking they'll just go dump it in the back of your truck, and you're not like having to go fucking throw bags everywhere. It's just way easier. Yeah. So I did that, and then I went and mowed like 3 acres of the lodge property with a fucking regular 21-inch deck mower, like regular push mower,
spinning blades and all that stuff, like the old school.
No, not that bad. I have that mower, by the way. Every once in a while, we'll use a little push mower, but this is just a regular, non-self-propelled, fucking regular gas mower on the property because we had to fire our landscapers. Long story, but I'm pushing around. It took me like 5 hours between the mowing, weed whacking, all that other stuff. It looked great afterwards, but fuck, if I got sunburn and all this shit, and that was the whole thing. And then did some more home projects and shit like that. So by today, I'm like my arms barely move. Like I need a couple days off. I'm way too fucking old to be, doing manual labor like basically every day this week. And then by today, I was like, I wanted to go out and do some more stuff in the yard, and my arms were like, no. You're like, no, you can't pick your hand up over your shoulder. Like that's how my shoulders are just like, go fuck yourself. So anyways, that was between that and the other not Star Wars related thing is I've been in this battle with the defense finance and accounting system. Like this it's all out war now. Like I've involved my congressman, like the amount of negligence is criminal that this place is. It is picture like the empire democracy, right? Or the bureaucracy, right? Where there's like this layer upon layer, and anytime you call over to the call center to talk to retirement people, they have no actionable things except for sending messages to a liaison, who a liaison sends it to a processor. Like it's like Office Space.
Jesus.
They have this liaison who's like, I talk to the engineer so the customer doesn't have to.
Yeah.
I have people skills, right? There's somebody, that person exists in DFAS, and they're supposed to be like, I've heard the word escalated and elevated and prioritized and all this all bullshit they've been telling me for weeks now. I got all this shit documented, and I got so fucking pissed off. I did all that lawn mowing, and I called them. I deliberately waited because they were supposed to call me, and they've actually supposed to 3 times they were supposed to call me. Not once did they call. But and then I'm learning the whole system. It's like, no, you call a call center, and then the call center puts a message through the liaison. The liaison contacts the processors, and the processors are the ones that actually have to do something. So when I call and ask, what's the status of my account? Nobody can tell me.
Right.
They said, oh, look, all we can do is send a message to the processor. And then after 2 days, I have to wait 2 days to call back so that they can send another message. Each time they elevate it, but they have 2 days to respond, the processor, and they never do. So I'm in this infinite loop of this 48 working hour cycle of the call center contacting the liaison who contacts the processor. They wait 2 days after nothing happens, and I call back and get all shitty with them, and then the process repeats. So I'm curious to see what my congressman can do, because he basically said that, like, all right, well, we're going to contact the Air Force liaison at the Pentagon for this, and then work it from there. So yeah, fun stuff.
Sounds great.
Legitimately, if I was located in Cleveland, I'd probably would have been incarcerated the other day, because I so sick and tired of their fucking nonsense. Anybody's friends with me on Facebook saw my rant on that. But yeah, so just, and I back to Star Wars related shit. I did play some the Ewok stuff. So I turned on Battlefront on May the 4th, and the new Battlefront 2. Right. And saw that the Ewok stuff was still up. I think when we talked about it originally, they talked about it being done May 1st. And now they extended it to tomorrow, like early tomorrow morning. It's supposed to go away. I played it for a little while. It's interesting, and yet you can get bored of it fairly quickly. So I can understand it not lasting a whole long time.
Yeah. Being a limited time thing, and then they could just bring it back once every
it'd be an interesting map if they would have made, like, you're a stormtrooper with basically an E11 with a flashlight on it, and that's it.
Right.
Like, they add some stuff, like you can earn, I think, different other weapon systems, but you don't have a grenade to throw. There's Ewoks are sneaky and basically have night vision. So, yeah, and then as soon as you die as a stormtrooper, you become an Ewok. So it's like, all right, whatever. So
yeah,
but otherwise, yeah. What else did I have? Oh yeah, I'm fucking finishing my degree. The VA's got me finishing my degree, so I have to start all this fucking college bullshit again.
But they're going to pay for it and everything, right?
They're going to pay for it. Nice. Yeah, so that'll be cool when I get spun up. But I had to go through the whole process. I'm one of those idiots that in the Air Force that was so close to getting my degree and then never actually finished it because I'm a lazy fuck, and let excuses keep me from doing it.
Keep in mind, people, he personally has lectured me directly about finishing school in the past, especially when we worked together a lot. So.
Do as I say, not as I do, Jason.
I just
look at where it got you. My advice is gold.
Yes.
So my advice right now to everyone else is fucking stay in school, kids. Stay in school.
Yes.
Because it sucks to have to try and go back and finish it when you're old.
And trust me, I've still got a lot of college ahead of me too. So.
Yeah, but you got all your CCAF shit done. So that's the good part. So you don't have to worry about it for promotions. It's just that CCAF isn't worth dog shit out in the real world. As far as looking for jobs and shit. So you definitely, once all this is over, put a ducat or two into finishing your degree. Anyway, stay in school, kids.
Yeah, apparently Ray's lip gloss is trying to get our attention in the chat.
What? Hey, Star Wars. Shut. Well, listen, you're supposed to be a target.
Nothing.
I think they left. They might have left. If my daughter's driving, she's probably like watching this on YouTube. So, hi, honey.
So, as we're
get the fuck out of here already.
I told you before we started that this was coming. And if you're done with your week in Star Wars, then
I am done with my week in Star Wars.
This would be a great time to take a break before we decide to get into our main.
Take the time and go pee.
Note the time.
Weak ass.
Hey, I haven't had to take pee breaks at all over the last, I don't know, couple of months, mostly because we're limited to the 1.5-hour time frame. If we were doing 2 hours plus episodes, I'd be pissing all the time. But
and you're not drinking beers either.
That is true. That's a big factor. So
go pee.
That being said, yes, we will be right back after this word from our sponsor.
Well, he's going to pee. I'm not getting out of this chair. So what can we talk about besides stay in school, kids? We can talk about how Ray's lip gloss is harassing us via chat. We can do that. Actually, let me do it. Who's in the chat? We got Just Fresh. What's up, Just Fresh? Thanks for the anniversary shout out. Bronco Fett's correcting me that the tulips are Dutch, Danish, whatever. I have this giant map on the wall that I put up I'll put something on Instagram for it. It's got like it literally has 150 pins for all the places I've been in the world. It's like kind of like after you put all the pins in, you kind of stand back and look at it, you're like, holy shit. You know, a lot of places in 20 years. But Holland was not one of them. Solo ticket sales are outpacing Black Panther. Well, that's good. This is coming from Just Fresh. Bronco Fett got his tux. Oh, wait, no, his ticks. I see what you did there. Got a Pain King, May the 4th. And then, Ray's lip gloss is harassing us. So just catching everyone up on the chat.
Excellent. So
I should post that picture I shared with you of the map.
No, put that on Instagram. That's
I have to take another one. Actually, I think I put a couple more since I sent, because I had this like globe. It's not there. It is. See
you've
over
shown
my
us
shoulder?
The globe before. Oh, yeah, we've seen the
globe. That globe's going away, by the way. That's like.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, I'm probably give it to one of my nephews or whatever. But and so is that compact machine that's back there. You see that thing? That
holy
old
shit!
Yeah, look at that thing. That's my father-in-law's. He keeps it because he's got like AutoCAD on it. He's got a bunch of drawings and shit.
Nice.
So that's gonna have to get put away somewhere, because I'm actually gonna put a record player on there.
Word.
Nice. Yeah, I'm jealous of the John's record player. Like when we were over last night, he was just playing records, and I'm like, oh my god, I just want. My daughter has a record player that she doesn't use, and we got her one of those, the Bluetooth ones. The only thing is, when we talk about this on a podcast, we can't tape from the record onto like digital, which they make them to do that now. But I don't really care, because we have that record that John gave us.
That's right.
With the Star Wars stuff. So we need to figure that out. Yeah. Scott's been listening to old Project VCR episodes. We're going to talk about that offline, by the way.
Okay.
Project VCR. Make a note of that. I wanted to. Anyway, it is 4:40.
All right, we doing this?
Yeah.
40. All right, give me 10 seconds and we'll roll back into it. And we're back. So, as we mentioned at the top of the show, this week's topic is the second half of Rebels Season 1. So, I just finished watching it for the first time again. This is the first time I'm watching it right before we're doing these shows. So, in fact, I finished watching the last episode this morning, but I watched a majority of it over this weekend.
Nice.
So these are my initial reactions to the second half of Rebels Season 1. First thing that I want to mention is that I thought this season was 16 episodes. No, apparently not. Apparently it's 15. Not that it makes that much of a difference, but I got to 14 episodes and I went to go scroll over to 15 and I noticed that nothing else was appearing on the right. And I'm scrolling. I'm like, oh, I guess there's no more episodes. Go figure. But a lot of shit happened, and we're not going to go through and talk about these kind of episode by episode like we have done with the Clone Wars. We're going to kind of breeze through some of this, going to go through my notes, mention some notable stuff. I do want to focus a little bit more on the last 3 episodes because that's how the season closed. It was like this 3-parter.
Right.
But otherwise, we're going to kind of breeze through some of this earlier stuff. Like episode 9 was a continuation of the episode 8, which was that Empire Day.
Right.
A lot of hints being dropped about Ezra and his parents, and that's a continuing mystery that's has yet to be unraveled, at least in this season of Rebels. So that's a big thing that's going on in the background. But one note that I did make during this episode was the fact that they seem to be, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but there's a lot of parallels between Ezra and Rey. Because Ezra grew up by himself, no parents. He mentioned several times that he had to survive on his own. I think he even had a line of dialogue in one of these episodes where he's like, I survived this long without my parents. And
yeah, but I think that I hear what you're saying about that, but I would caution you in trying to draw that parallel too closely because Ezra has awareness of his parents, knows who they are, knows what their situation was. And his conflict is getting to his parents or finding out what happened to his parents. Yeah. He can visualize and see his parents, whereas Rey cannot. Rey has no indication at all who their parents are or what they look like. Whereas Ezra, this is like a driving force through the entire Rebels
the series.
Story. Yeah, is this thing with his parents, and even with this home planet Lothal, a lot of it's going to come back to Lothal. So
okay. Yeah, and that's one thing that I noticed throughout the whole rest of this first season is it all takes place on Lothal. So I'm guessing that this is where a majority of the series takes place. I mean, they do hop around a little bit, yeah. And you know what? I kind of like that because it gives the whole series more focus because you compare this to Clone Wars, right? Clone Wars is just a whole bunch of different things kind of coming at you from all different kinds of directions. A shitload of different characters, shitload of different locations. There's no focus in Clone Wars, at least to what we've gotten up to at this point in season 2 with the Diet Cokes and the...
Well, you said focus, so... I needed some focus. So
that
were really intense.
That is the opposite.
You were really intense for a good 15 seconds there. So we had to break that shit up. Anyway, what were you talking about?
Because you couldn't let me finish a goddamn thought.
No, what fun is that?
Anyway,
I made a mess too. God damn it.
Good. You deserve it.
Yeah. Oh, your fault, Jason.
Yes. Hope you spill it all over in your lap.
Anyway, what's
so anyway, I was just saying that with the location staying local to Lothal and it only being centered around our our 5 main characters, it gives the whole thing tons more focus than Clone Wars ever had, at least had up to season 2. So I like that a lot better, and I like Lothal. I like the whole story behind it, especially after we read Thrawn, and a big part of Thrawn took place on Lothal. Oh, you're killing me. Speaking of which, they keep mentioning Governor Price throughout these episodes. We have yet to see her, but they keep talking about her over and over again. Oh, Governor Price will not be pleased. While Governor Price is away, you're supposed to be in charge and taking care of shit. Still have yet to see her. I don't know why. I don't know what they're keeping her away for. It's not like she's that big of a character.
You'll see. You'll have to see. As somebody who's watched more episodes than you have, you'll just have to wait and see.
Okay.
And it's not the Lothal thing is, like I said, it's central to what's going on, but not necessarily. You'll get to see other planets. I agree with you though. Like one thing that the Clone Wars was, it's kind of schizophrenic how it jumps between planets. Like if you were trying to track every place that they were going, excuse me, you'd have to write that shit down constantly. Like, oh, they're in this system now, or they're in this system, which is good and it's bad. You know, for Clone Wars, it just shows like how much is going on throughout the galaxy. You know, as the whatever. As they're controlling, as they're trying to take control of these systems and basically follow Palpatine's plan to basically consolidate everything into one empire. Ultimately, it gives you an idea how grand the scale is. Whereas with Rebels, the scale is limited to what is going on with these characters. Not necessarily what's going on throughout the entire, galaxy. So it is nice. It is nice to stay focused on the characters.
Yeah, I definitely don't hate that at all. Bouncing over, I don't think we were introduced to this in the episodes 1 through 8, but Hera, that's the Twi'lek chick's name, right? Hera?
Right. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. See, I'm learning.
Yeah.
Now, she's starting to contact somebody with like another rebel cell and a specific person named Fulcrum, which I don't think we were introduced to this person in the beginning, but now it's another thing that's popping up over and over again is this person Fulcrum that she's talking to. You also get some shots of her talking to the holographic image of him and the like veiled cloak over their face, so you don't really know who it is. At first I was thinking, oh, it's got to be Obi-Wan, maybe Bail Organa, because we've already seen Bail Organa once. We'll find out at the end of this season who that actually is. And then another thing I took an early note on, we're still dealing with the Inquisitor. He's still there. He's still trying to track down. You hear that?
I do.
Yeah, apparently somebody's car alarm is going off, and there it goes. Okay. More distractions here for the All Things Star Wars podcast. Anyway, and the Inquisitor has a line where he says something about my master will not be pleased. Who is his master? Like, are we led to believe it's Palpatine? Is it Vader? Do we know who the master of the Inquisitors is?
I mean, well, they're reporting to Palpatine. He's working for the Emperor. And then if we coincide this with what's going on in the comics, we know that in the new Vader series, we haven't talked about it necessarily for the podcast, but in the new Vader series, there's direct interactions with the Inquisitors.
Okay.
So it's like, I think it's been a while since I looked at it, but I'm almost positive that in the new Vader series, and maybe somebody can correct me in the chat, is Palpatine's like, okay, here's these Inquisitors. You're going to be responsible for them. Yeah. So ultimately, I think in the chain of command, the Inquisitors report to Vader and then ultimately to Palpatine.
Yeah. Another thing that I took note of is, especially during these early episodes, is they do a lot of fan service in these episodes. They're like reaching back, bringing in a whole bunch of characters that we've seen throughout the Star Wars universe. Like in the second episode, episode 10, we have Yoda make an appearance, just his voice, but we do get Yoda as Ezra and Kanan are going to like some fucking Jedi temple that was apparently on Lothal, which is interesting. But yeah, they're walking through, Ezra's going through a test, and Yoda's talking to the two of them, giving them, it was actually really good dialogue. The dialogue that Yoda has between both him and Kanan and him and Ezra, really, really good shit. So if you haven't seen this, go and watch it. But that's some of the early fan service that we start getting. And then the next episode after that, episode 11, we get motherfucking Billy D. Williams reprising his role as Lando Calrissian.
That's right.
What would we say at a time like this?
It's a dynamite taste.
Yes. So I don't know how much you remember because you haven't seen these in a while, but yeah, Lando returns and has direct interaction with our rebels on Lothal.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm looking at the Wikipedia trying to jog my memory of the episode itself.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically what happens is Lando's using them to smuggle some shit off the planet. There was this whole card game. Right. Yeah, there was like a card game where they lost Chopper to him initially, and he's like, oh, you can have your droid back if you help me do this other smuggling shit.
Right.
Yeah, and they were like they were smuggling a puffer pig, like a fucking pig that was like a puffer fish that when it got agitated, it like fucking blew up.
Yeah,
big balloon.
That's right. Unfortunately, I remember watching this and it was kind of like, it was neat that they brought Lando back, but at the same time, it was like, this episode kind of sucks.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, Lando saved the whole episode because otherwise it would have been very subpar. And something happened in it that really fucking pissed me off. That happened in a lot of early episodes. Didn't really happen much after this though. Was like Ezra and Zeb. Like, I do not like the character of Zeb. I'm going to tell you that right now. Like, I think he's fucking annoying. I think he puts the people in danger just for his own little fun time. But they had the fucking pig in the cage. Lando says, "Don't open it. This thing does stuff." So Zeb's like, "Ooh, I'm going to open this cage." And like him and Ezra are fucking around and they open it and they let the pig out. And that's what, through a whole series of events, it lets the Empire know that they're there and the Empire starts chasing them, all because Zeb was a fucking idiot and let the pig out of the cage. And his character does shit like that.
I think Zeb has more, in later episodes, like there's some Zeb centric. There's some Zeb-centric episodes where, sorry, every time Jason drinks, I have to stop talking so we can see the giant gallon of water he's drinking out of.
And then I almost spit the water out because I see every you stopping, time, and I'm about to laugh.
It's the best.
Yeah.
No, it's there's some episodes later on where the Zeb character, it starts to make a little bit more sense. What his background is, but yeah, I mean, they're adding comic relief to make this. I mean, let's face it, this is geared towards a younger audience. So
yeah,
even the colors, of some of these things and the pig stuff, this was obviously like, all right, this is the entertainment for the kids, and the adults get to see Lando come back into our universe. So
that's true. And I mean, most of these episodes up to this point have not been that kind of outrageous and ridiculous and goofy. Like, most of them are pretty easy for an adult to follow, but this one was kind of, like you said, not that great.
I'll tell you what I think about, and one of the reasons I really like the Rebel series so much more than the Clone Wars, as it goes on, it's way more like Star Wars story oriented. Like, as it presses through, and so much so that at the end, I don't think it's like really the ending. I don't think is really geared for children at all. Like season 4, it's way more about bringing Rebels in line with what we know in the Star Wars universe, and start making connections, as we go through this. So Dave Filoni does a real good job of, drawing parallels like you've noticed, and then like start bringing skewing those parallels towards what we know in the canon.
Something I wanted to mention in part 1 of the season that I forgot to, or that we kind of ran out of time, was the character of Gaul Travius. He's like allegedly a rogue senator who is like shooting out all this rebel propaganda over the airwaves. We've seen him several times throughout season 1, and his whole story kind of came to a head in episode 12. And the reason I wanted to bring him up was because the second he started broadcasting, I knew exactly who the voice was. It was fucking Brent Spiner, which, if you don't know who Brent Spiner is, he is Commander Data from the Star Trek, The Next Generation. But the second his voice came on in one of these early episodes of the show, I'm like, that's fucking Brent Spiner. I know it. Looked it up. Sure shit it is.
Yeah. And it verified it by Wikipedia. It's pretty obvious. Worlds colliding, as far as the Star Wars and Star Trek goes.
Yeah, because I remember in Clone Wars, what's his nuts? Sulu, fucking, he did a voice. George Takei, he did a voice for somebody.
Yeah, he was one of the, oh, fuck, wasn't he?
The Nemoidians.
Nemoidian, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we start this 3-episode series that kind of closes out the season. It starts with episode 13, which is called Call to Action.
All right, real quick.
Oh,
we passed through it, and I meant to throw it into the note. What do you think of Ezra's lightsaber?
I think it's neat. It's a neat concept. It's, Yeah, it's like part of it's a blaster that can
Right.
also be a lightsaber. I think it's unique.
So I think it was in episode 10 or 11. I think is when Ezra's building. Actually, he gets his own kyber crystal and he's building his own lightsaber.
Yep.
I remember when this came out. So we're talking like January, February of 2015 when this stuff came out.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the controversy of this lightsaber when it first came out, and personally, because I remember when this was going on, and I was kind of looking at it like I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the non-traditional lightsaber. I think that excuse me, I get it from his character standpoint, but I never bought into it. You know what I mean? Like it was a distractor to me to like have this lightsaber be so different. I was curious what your take was.
Well, you got to think about this. Like the Jedi Order is gone, and they've been gone for over a decade. So why stick to traditional ways? If you're good with machinery and you can build something like that, give you maybe a slight advantage in combat, fuck it, why not try it?
I mean, I guess it, like I said, when it came out, it was a thing that like people were talking about, like people that were watching Rebels. It was like, what the fuck is up with this lightsaber? It like, dude, where do they think they're going with this? And it prompted the discussions about like, as all of us, we're getting this like our traditional, non-traditional Star Wars roles and things like that, but. It is aside from like the dual bladed lightsabers we see, the Inquisitor has a non-standard lightsaber with the way it's fucking spins in that handle. Yeah. So we see some non-standard stuff, but I think overall, like I said, I just wasn't a fan of like the blaster included into it. But that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not one of those things where I'm like, this is bullshit. Fuck this show. I wasn't ready to, go that far. But
I have to like, my wife's giving me shit because I seem distracted. But I'm looking over at the chat. For those of us that are those guys that are watching, I'm trying to pay attention to people that are in the chat. So Raised Lip Gloss says, I guess after I spilled Diet Coke, she puts in the chat, Dead Man's Desk, like because this desk we got it from like. Gotcha. We got it from, I think I talked about it the last episode, but we got it.
Somebody that died.
The guy that died. So I'm at this Dead Man's Desk and I just spilled Diet Coke all over it. So ha 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 ha. Very funny. I cleaned it up. That's why I have this like nice thing that makes noise when I rub it.
I'm glad Kristen doesn't watch our live streams because she like ribbed me relentlessly, I'm sure. Thankfully, we only have your wife doing it.
Yeah. Well, it's like I love the randomness. Like sidebar. How are we on time? Like I'm gonna stop talking. Jason, say something.
Something.
So let's analyze what's going on behind Jason. Every week he's got some stuff different. Like he's all right. Here's a random pile of papers here on the bed. At least the bed's made. I mean, some days the bed's made, some days it's not. Some days there's an attempt at like, oh, let me pull the sheets up to a point where we think the bed's made, but then you can
that's what today is.
Today is one of those days.
Yes.
Oh, you did a decent job of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got like it's a box of stuff and like I funny like at some point like Kathy helped me stage this stuff behind us. Like, so like I'm in the process of putting the room together. So to get some Star Wars stuff over my shoulder and things like that for the YouTube audience. So like she put all that stuff together. I'm thinking I need to send you some stuff and you can stage it behind there. Like get some random Star Wars crap and we can play Where's Waldo in Jason's room.
Well, the only problem with that is then I'd have to pack it up and haul it home with me whenever the time comes.
Well, this is true. And I'm always astounded by the shades. It's Air Force In's standard bullshit, but the shades, like the full length of that window, it looks like the curtain's going to open up into fucking like a puppet show. It's like it's going to open up to the holiday special playing fucking behind it.
Yes. You brought up the holiday special this week.
I did. I don't know why that popped in my head. It's the first fucking thing that popped into my head.
All right, Tom, it's your time to go crazy in the chat.
Fucker.
Anyway, while that's going on, let's wrap up the individual episodes of this season. So they were a 3-part series that started off with fucking Grand Moff Tarkin rolling into Lothal, because this whole season, the fucking Inquisitor, what's that Inspector guy's name? Agent Callus.
Right.
And that minister chick, the chick that's kind of taken over for Governor Price while she's gone, they've all been chasing after these rebels and they've all been failing. So Tarkin rolls in there. He's like, look, motherfuckers, shit's about to change around here. You idiots on this backwater planet are letting this rebellion pop up, and I'm fucking done listening to this shit. So he rolls in there and he starts kind of laying down the law and telling them how things are going to be.
Straight up executes bitches too. Just like, this is the Empire and we're taking over, and done. That guy's done. That guy's done. All right, I'm in fucking charge.
Yep. So he rolls in and they put together some new plans, and ultimately by the end of this episode, they lure out the rebels and they capture Kanan. So Kanan has officially been captured while the rest of them escape. And that rolls right into the second episode, where Kanan, the entire time he's in captivity, he's got fucking Tarkin, the Inquisitor. They're all like mind probing him. They're fucking torturing him, trying to get him to talk about any other rebel cells that he's aware of, try to get him to roll over on his crew. And he's, resisting all of that. So the whole second episode is them trying to figure out where the hell he's being held captive. And one of the last parts of this is they get some intel that says that he's on Tarkin's ship, and Tarkin's ship is about to head to Mustafar. So this is one of the locations that we get to see outside of Lothal.
Right.
Is them going to Mustafar, and we all know who's on Mustafar. Yeah, I mean, that's some heavy breathing and whatnot. But yeah, and then there it's good. And there was a point too where Chopper sensed that our rebel friends were in danger, and he makes a call to Fulcrum. So then we roll into the last episode. They decide, all right, we're just going to roll into Tarkin's ship over on Mustafar, try to get fucking Kanan out of there. And we had a whole bunch of shit going on. They actually get into the ship. They booby trap the TIE fighter, the fucking TIE fighter that Ezra and Zeb stole in like episode 3 or something of the show. And I knew when that fucking episode happened, and they asked them when they got back, like the rest of the crew asked them, like, what'd you do with the TIE fighter? They're like, yeah, we blew it up. And I'm like, no, you fucking didn't. And sure as shit, they didn't. They've had this TIE fighter stored for a while. Fucking what's her nuts? Sabine spray painted it in her Mandalorian colors and all that. So it's like this bright orange and white and black fucking TIE fighter. I don't know how you felt about that, because they were kind of desecrating it a little bit.
It was. I'll tell you what, it'd be one of those interesting things to own, like that version of it when it was all painted up before they fucking filled it with EMP grenades and blew it the fuck up.
And I did write in here, more Dave TIE fighter hard on action, because there was at one point where our rebels had like 2 TIE fighters and they were fighting a whole bunch of other TIE fighters, and I'm just like, oh yeah, Dave's probably
just the sound alone is just fucking.
We had a really cool couple of lightsaber duels. We had Kanan taking on the Inquisitor again. Kanan's been getting his ass kicked by the Inquisitor this whole fucking season. And finally, Kanan comes back and he's more focused. He's all pissed off because of what's been going on. And he beats down the fucking Inquisitor to the point where Inquisitor is like hanging off of a bridge, like dangling over like a big reactor that's overheating or whatever. He walks over to the Inquisitor, and I'm expecting him to like fucking put his lightsabers away and still reach out his hand, and being the good Jedi. And no, he just fucking looks at him, and then he just watches him fucking fall to his death. And the Inquisitor's dead. They killed off the Inquisitor.
One of them.
Oh, yeah, I guess there are more.
Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, but the Inquisitor that we've known throughout the whole course of this season, fucking dead. So I'm like, oh, that was kind of unexpected, because I was honestly expecting him to be a mainstay throughout the whole course of the series. No, didn't happen. So it was a unique surprise to me. So then they're trying to escape in these TIE fighters. Fucking the Empire is just closing in on them. And all of a sudden, these fucking blockade runners come out of hyperspace along with the Ghost. And they fight off the Empire. They protect them all and then beat the fuck out of there. And we see Bail Organa is on one of them.
Yeah, so, courtesy of Bail Organa.
Yep. And I'm thinking, okay, well, he's the Fulcrum guy. But
I don't think he is.
No, he's not, because they then walk over to the Bridge of the Ghost. They're like, "Who's flying the Ghost right now?" "Oh, that's where Fulcrum is." Like, "Oh, okay." Roll over to the Bridge of the Ghost, and fucking Ahsoka Tano comes out.
That's right. That's right. I forgot
and,
about the reveal.
Yeah. Now, I knew that she was in Rebels because I'd seen previews and stuff, so I knew was there. I didn't think she was Fulcrum, so it was kind of a surprise for me. But I would imagine, like, people wwho were watching this live, watching the season finale,
it was a big fucking deal.
It was probably like, holy shit!
Was. It's fucking this is why I need to rewatch these episodes before we fucking start. But yeah, it was huge. It was a big deal bringing her into this series. And yeah, you're right. The reaction, the fan reaction was big.
And then the last shot of the season was Tarkin rolling back onto Lothal. That fucking, what's his name? The agent's still alive, Agent Callus and the Minister. Right. And he rolls up to them. They're like, "Inquisitor's dead." He's like, "It's all right. I brought somebody else with me that's going to help fucking fix the situation." And out walks Darth fucking Vader.
Right.
From the shuttle.
So you have Ahsoka and Vader like in the same episode finishing the season.
Yeah. They were like the last two scenes of the season.
Right. So you know that for season 2, they're going to play integral parts in what's going on.
And obviously, we know that Ahsoka and Anakin Skywalker had a relationship. Right. I don't know if because we haven't finished Clone Wars, I don't know how they separated or if they even closed out their story in the Clone Wars series between Ahsoka and Anakin. Like how?
Yeah, that's a good question. We haven't. We got probably now that we're done season 1 of Rebels, we're actually probably closer to the end of Rebels than we are closer to the end of Clone Wars, episodically anyway.
Yeah, it's sad to say, but I wrote my last note in here was damn good episodes. So these last 3 episodes were all really good. Really enjoyed all of them. And really the whole season, like besides one or two that were kind of duds, a majority of the season was really good.
I just saw in the chat, whip, stir, fucking Bronco Fett.
You're never going to hear the end of it.
Never, ever. That's the next costume, Bronco Fett. I want to see you in your whip, stir fucking outfit.
Oh my God, that would be a great Halloween costume. But anyway, I just kind of want to wrap up this whole season 1 discussion talking about some of these characters and their arcs. Because like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Zeb, but I really like where they're going with some of these other characters. Like Kanan, I like what they're doing with him because we talked about it before. He never finished his Jedi training. So he's not like just some, fully trained, confident Jedi, kind of like an Obi-Wan. He's unsure of himself. He's unsure of his ability to help this group and do what he needs to do.
Yeah, and he sure as shit is unsure about training Ezra.
Yeah,
whether or not he's doing that shit right, because Ezra has so much within this season. Ezra actually uses the dark side to escape from the Inquisitor. Right around the middle of the season, like we're in the middle of these episodes we were just talking about. Yep. So, and that Kanan doesn't really know how to handle that, because he's not a master. He's just basically kind of leaking out as much Jedi information as he can to this kid, and Ezra starts proving more and more throughout. After he builds his lightsaber and starts like using more of the Force as the episodes go along to show that like I think early on in the season they'd play him off as really just kind of a punk kid who really doesn't know what's going on, and then now he's using more and more of the Force, but not in a traditional way.
Right. But I get the feeling that he's more powerful than Kanan. Like he's more powerful in the Force than, the actual trained Jedi. I
think that's something you'll have to see as the seasons go on, and maybe analyze. Kanan definitely. I'll tell you, for me, like we could, after we're done with Rebels, we could even do a character wrap up for everybody, which would probably be smart. But I think Kanan was probably, had he been able to be fully trained, would have been a fairly significant Jedi, and I think when you read New Dawn and some of the other things, it kind of alludes to that a little bit. So
yeah, I feel like I want to get caught up and read that at some point too. But you know who my favorite character is turning out to be in this series? It's Sabine, the Mandalorian, because she's the character that's the most sure of herself and it like fucks around the least. Like, because you know, like Ezra and Zeb, they like to fuck around and play around. Even like Ezra and Kanan have a lot of bullshit back and forth. Kind of a lot like what we talked about with Clone Wars with Anakin and Obi-Wan and all their fucking banter. Right. Where Sabine seems more like straight to the point, like no bullshit, no nonsense. I like her character, and I do like the whole Mandalorian get up and her fucking dual pistols and everything.
I think to me, for her, I like the character as well. It's interesting to see a Mando like outside of, you know, what we traditionally it didn't pick up. There it went. Damn it. She's like, it's this whole thing with like the graffiti thing kind of is distracting because of her art. One of the things, you know, you find out about her character is like that the art is like kind of, there's something with her parents that turns out that like with the art and like the graffiti and stuff like that. And
yeah,
so more to follow on that, but yeah, I agree. I personally like the Hera character probably the most, because if you're talking about like, this is the person who's sticking the most to, these are the missions I have, this is the plan, these are the missions, you know, and the relationship with her crew is extremely important, but at the end of the day, she's very mission oriented. And
yeah, no, I like that too. I agree.
She's probably one of the most dedicated, you know, soldiers of the rebellion that we've seen, you know, next to Leia.
Yeah,
as far as just the level of dedication and you know, okay, we have this mission. These are the important things that we're doing, and not being necessarily risk averse all the time to doing certain things. It makes for an interesting group, and as we get along in the seasons, we get to see it even more. So I like the Hera character probably the most out of all of them. Plus, it helps to see the Twi'lek, and I just enjoy them.
yeah. No, I think both of the girls in the crew are really good characters because again, I like the no nonsense, no fucking around bullshit that all the guy characters seem to be doing.
Yeah.
So. And that's really it. That's the wrap on season 1. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to watching the next season. I'm probably going to hit up Best Buy here within the next week or two and pick up the second season. So, and I hate to say it because you know how much I hate to tell you that you're right and to placate your ego anymore. But yes, Dave, you were right. I was wrong. I'm stupid. You're smart. You're good looking. I'm not attractive. Yes.
You can keep going.
No, that's enough.
That's it.
And,
damn.
Yeah. And no,
Other
Rebels is probably
quotes.
a lot. Yeah, Rebels is a lot better than fucking Clone Wars. From what we've seen so far.
You've said it for me. I don't need to say it. I'm glad. I'm just glad we're doing it. Like I said, we will cover Clone Wars, and you know, as we segue into what we're going to talk about for next week, Jason's got a big week coming up, so we got to come up with a soft topic, if you will.
Yes, one that doesn't require 4 hours of research. You know, watching episodes of a show or all that. Like I know we had talked about possibly wanting to do like Knights of the Old Republic, but it's a long game, and I definitely don't have time to finish it before the next episode. Yeah,
and most likely, I might have time to. But one thing we didn't get into with the Knights of the Old Republic game is I have the Xbox on a 60-inch screen, and for Knights of the Old Republic, it's not like the graphics are basically for a much smaller screen, and it like kind of
480p TV and all that.
Yeah, it puts me off a little bit. And so I'm gonna have to get through that if we do decide to like, hey, we're gonna do this. I haven't fired up Republic Commando yet, much to Bronco Fett's chagrin.
Yeah,
but you know, maybe do something like that. I don't know. What do you think? Where are we at with the Vader comics?
I'm I mean, I know where we're at. We got through like issue 25-ish. I just don't know what the next storylines are beyond this, but I can certainly look it up.
Yeah, maybe we
Live on the show.
tie up some Vader stuff, and from a comic perspective, because the Vader, like the Star Wars series is like, we're fucking 40 plus, 40, like, it's continuous, whereas Vader, the first run of the Vader comic ended, and then they started a new Vader series.
Yeah, which apparently that new series is pretty good, so I wouldn't mind getting to that at some point.
I agree. I physically have the comics. I haven't been reading them just because I feel like if I start doing that, I still have to finish a solo book. Like, I got to find time to do that. Like, where I'm not, beating myself to death in the yard, doing yard shit, and actually sit down and relax and finish that book. That would be good. I don't anticipate you being able to finish it or read to that level anytime soon, but
it looks like the next story in the Vader comics is the last of that first run. Like,
how many comics?
It goes up to issue 25. Did the first Vader series only go up to 25 issues?
I think that sounds about right.
Okay, because then if we went through the next Star Wars and Vader comics, that would take us both to issue 25 of each. And it looks like that's where the first run of Vader ends. So maybe that's what we should do next.
Yeah, we'll do that. Because it's quick Marvel Unlimited. Bronco Fett's saying Poe Dameron comic. We'll get there. But Poe Dameron, that's a long story arc.
Yeah,
I think it's too long to start with. We've already gotten through almost the entire Vader series. I think we can, if we can finish off the Vader series that we're currently in, I think that'd be great for the next episode, and not so much work for you, and easier for me to reread.
Yeah, so, comics are easy, man. They're real quick reads.
And hopefully, me personally, I don't anticipate seeing much new solo stuff come out between now and then, between now and next week, because I feel like that they pushed out all the stuff they're going to push out. Now we're just kind of have to simmer in it a little bit. Like, we're getting inundated in social media. I don't watch live TV, like really cable. Yeah. So I don't know what's actually out there on like national level as far as TV broadcasts and stuff. I know that they're pushing it on social media big time.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm getting to the point with Solo that I got to with The Last Jedi, where I don't need to see anymore. Like, I don't need any more trailers, more TV spots, because I'm not actively seeking any of that stuff. I'll just wait and see the movie from here.
But real quick, because we don't really talk about it. How about the Lando sequence where it's like Lando going through? Did we talk? We didn't talk about this last week, did we?
Depends. What do you?
So there was Donald Glover actually did like a walkthrough of the Falcon. Like as Lando, and
we definitely didn't talk about it on the show.
Oh man, if you haven't seen it, it's a good little spot. I think it's like a minute. It might be 90 seconds long, or if that. But nope, didn't get it. Damn it! If I pause that's what's happening.
The key is I have to be quiet while I'm doing it.
Exactly. But it's a walkthrough. Donald Glover's like doing a walkthrough, and then like he comes in and he goes into like the bedroom areas and stuff like that, and everything's so pristine. Like, you can't believe it's the same Millennium Falcon that's in all the other movies, because it just looks so grimy inside. And I think we talked about that before, where they said that Solo did it deliberately, like in this story anyway. When he got hold of it, he was like, this place is too fucking nice. Like, Lando is just like, he's one of those guys, like, he's got a cape for every day, he's got his shit all together, whereas Han was like, this place is way too fucking clean. I'm gonna go ahead and let it run down. I'm gonna leave some fucking food out. I'm gonna do whatever. I'm not gonna be wiping down the walls every fucking day. Yeah, and that's why the Falcon looks like it does. Through the rest of the Star Wars world. But look for that spot on YouTube, or go through to StarWars.com, and you'll see it. It's Donald Glover doing like a walkthrough, which I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, I'll watch anything they put out. I'm not at that point. I'm still like, Solo for me is still like one of those unknowns where I'm getting more and more eager to see it, like, because I feel like it's going to be a lot better than we were anticipating months ago.
Yeah, I'm feeling that too.
started to come out. I'm starting to get excited, and that's dangerous. So I'm kind of willing to watch whatever they put out there, just so I can continue to that excitement level. And it's what, 19 days away. So it's going to happen. It's going to come up on us quick. So
speaking of which, something that I forgot to mention when we talked about getting the tickets for the movie is we're watching it on Friday night, the 25th or whatever. We're not watching because I know that they are doing Thursday night preview showings of it.
Rocco Fett has his tickets for Thursday night.
Yeah, which I mean, you can still go see if you want, but I'll be flying between New Orleans and Philadelphia at that time when those.
You know what? I'm not going to, and the only reason is because I like seeing it initially with you, and that way we can feed each other for our reaction. Yeah, and I just think it's more generic, not generic, but you know what I mean. Like it.
Oh yeah.
I think when we see it together and we can react to it together, as opposed to me knowing what's going to happen, like I'm not so amped up that I need to see it on a Thursday night and go do that.
Yeah. Now, obviously, if I was home in New Jersey and not down here, damn right we'd be seeing it on Thursday night.
Sure, absolutely. But it's definitely a product of Jason's. I hear people walking up and down the stairs. You've seen me like quick looking over like this. I'm waiting for somebody to like pop through the door at me.
Yeah.
Our seeing it on Friday has nothing to do with like, we're not going to see it, blah, blah, blah. No, it's strictly because this is when Jason bought the tickets for. It coincides with his schedule so that we can all see it together. Yep. And I'm perfectly fine with that. And it'll just be like social media lockdown basically on Thursday. And we'll incommunicado until we get into the theater basically. And
I'll be
to see it ourselves.
Anyway, I'll be first driving from here to New Orleans. First, I have class that day on Thursday. I have class all day. Then I drive to New Orleans. Then I catch a plane to fucking Atlanta. Then from Atlanta to Philly. And then I have to find a ride to my house after midnight.
I'll pick you up.
Will you be awake?
Yeah. I'll pick you up.
All right, we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah.
But so
not a big deal. I'm fucking dude. How close am I to the airport? I'm fucking 15 minutes away from the airport.
You are
It's not a big deal at all.
Sweet. Excellent. That's one less thing I have to worry about.
Check it off the list.
Yes, done. But yeah, it's so I'll be like completely out of communication anyway. So avoiding spoilers is going to be pretty easy for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll just stay off of social media as much as possible.
Don't open the fucking podcast email.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. What was his name? I don't even want to give him any more credit than he's already gotten.
That's interesting. Yeah. I'll be curious to see if he does send us something. I'll look after the fact.
Yeah, we'll look after the fact. we can look as we're walking out of the theater. We'll open up the email.
Yeah.
See what's in there.
All right, but I think that's all we got for this week. Do you have anything else before we close out?
Bronco Fett, don't you fucking dare. Don't you dare spoil it in a private group. You will get on our shit list.
You will be banned, sir. Banned.
There will be hellfire to pay.
Yes.
If you do spoilers on the private group.
And we'll like shit on Boise State every single week on the podcast.
Oh, there will be no end. There will do no end to our ire.
So
I know he's just joking anyway. I know he won't do that, but But you've been warned.
Yes. Social media.
What? This hang on. I got this shit written down. Like not on the piece of paper from the studio. So Instagram at All Things Star Wars Pod, obviously.
Yes.
Continue to follow. We're still get the followers. Hashtag us up. Share us as much as possible. Facebook.com/All Things Star Wars Pod. We did get a new 5-star review.
Whoa, shit! That's right, we did.
And we'll save it. Let's save it for next week.
Yes,
save it for next week. But thank you. Jennifer or something.
It's a female that starts with a J.
Remember that. It's a female that starts with a J. And I was surprised because I was driving and it popped up. And it was like, oh, we got a new thing. And I was reading it and I'm like, hey, it's a 5-star review and it's a girl.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
She might be our first female fan of the podcast.
Besides our wives.
Right. and they don't.
I don't know. I don't know how much fans they are of the podcast. I mean, real fan. Like,
right.
You picked up the podcast, listened to it anyway. But thank you for the 5-star review. We will definitely read it next week.
Yes.
iTunes, search for All Things Star Wars Pod or All Things Star Wars Podcast. YouTube, it's I didn't change it in here, but it's youtube.com/C/All Things Star Wars.
Yes.
That's how you find us on YouTube. Twitter, we're All Things SW Pod. Haven't been on Twitch a whole lot, but it's All Things Star Wars on Twitch. Minds.com/All Things Star Wars. I still don't have any. I don't look at that at all. I don't know. Jason has. If we're missing, if you're posting stuff on Minds for us and we're not paying attention to it, I apologize. It's if they have an app for my phone, maybe I would pay attention to it more. Maybe I'll write that down. That's like.
Yeah, I'm still pushing out at least our episodes on there. Not much else, but
all right.
Just another way to get the podcast out there.
Minds.com/All Things Star Wars. Email us at allthingsstarwarspod@gmail.com, except for spoilers. Don't fucking do that, dickbags. And that's it. You can look for all episode content to come out via Instagram and Facebook and all your favorite RSS feed and share us as much as possible. I appreciate. Hey, it was great getting a 5-star review. Love to keep getting subscribers for the YouTube channel. There's definitely plenty more once Jason gets into a battle rhythm where has less stress and more time to do stuff. I'd like to do like a couple of midweek shorts.
That'd be great.
I have some ideas for that. But once Jason's settled in, after the high stress stuff is over, then we can talk. One more week, man.
One more week, and then we're good to go.
No worries. Positive attitude.
Yep.
But yeah, other than that, I think that's it.
All right. So yeah, comics next week. And again, thank you everybody in the chat. Bronco Fett, Scott, Ray's Lip Gloss. Who else did we have? We had Pain King, a bunch of other people. Thanks everybody for joining us in the chat. Oh, Just Fresh did hop on. Okay, good. Everybody who listens to the podcast, everybody who's given us a review, thank you all. And Dave, until next time, may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.